Cameras on.
This is newly released body camera video. A team of 3 Border Patrol agents is driving through a Southside Chicago neighborhood. 2 have guns drawn. Marimar Martinez, an American citizen and school teacher, is driving next to them, honking her horn, warning people to the presence of federal immigration enforcement.
Back in October, a Chicago Montessori school teacher named Marimar Martinez was shot 5 times by a Border Patrol agent and labeled a domestic terrorist after attempting to warn others about CBP's presence. But newly released body cam footage and communications prove who the real aggressor was and how their aggression is being praised by the administration. There's a lot more, but Cenk, first, your 2 cents.
Yeah, so this combines the worst of 2 worlds. On this show, we covered for a very long time police abuse stories because they came in nonstop. And what would they do? They'd fire immediately, and they'd shoot 12-year-old kids, etc. And we thought that maybe we're starting to get past that. And here comes Homeland Security and ICE and all of that, back with trigger fingers. But this time, not just to kill citizens and shoot at our citizens, but also to take away our rights. So let's give you the facts.
There's a lot to get into, so let's watch more of the new body camera footage, but be advised, it may be disturbing for some viewers.
Another vehicle is behind the agents, also honking the horn.
All right, it's time to get aggressive and get the out, because they're trying to box us in.
It all happens in seconds.
All right, you're fine now. All right, out of the car.
Be advised, we've been struck, Get out.
Martinez was shot 5 times and survived. In this surveillance video, you can see the front of the agent's SUV come to a stop. 4 seconds later, Martinez's silver Nissan drives off, she says, fearing for her life.
After the incident, DHS and FBI Director Kash Patel blamed the incident on Martinez, claiming she rammed agents with her car and that the shots were self-defense. But again, the footage contradicts those claims.
In the lead up to the collision, you hear agents say they are going to collide with Martinez.
We're gonna make contact and we're boxed in.
And just before the moment of impact, it's Agent Charles Exum who sharply turns his steering wheel in the direction of Martinez. Proof, according to her attorney, that they hit her vehicle, not the other way around. And as for the claim of being boxed in, this surveillance video calls that comment into question, with nothing in the path ahead of the border agent's vehicle.
Now, last week, we reported on the disturbing text messages Charles Exum had sent following the shooting, texting his other agent friends things like, "I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Put that in your book, boys." But Exum wasn't the only one celebrating. These are some of the text messages Exum received afterwards. "Good job, brother. Glad you are unharmed and get to live to tell the story. You are a legend among agents. You better effing know that. Beers on me when I see you at training. That's awesome. You did real good." Heart face emoji. "Damn it, man. Good shooting." But it wasn't just fellow agents and friends congratulating Exum. Border Patrol official Gregory Bovino also congratulated him and offered to extend his retirement age. This email here you can see, "Good afternoon. I'd like to offer you an extended retirement beyond age 57. This will be your 2nd extension. And we'd like you to consider this if feasible. In light of your excellent service in Chicago, you have much yet left to do. Joe, would you have staff work with Mr. Exum to accomplish this most illustrative endeavor? Thank you." Additionally, when another agent asked if they were supportive, Exum responded saying, "Big time. Everyone has been, including Chief Bovino, Chief Banks, Secretary Noem, and El Jefe himself," according to Bovino. No, El Jefe is Spanish for the boss, so he could be referring to Trump here, but it's unclear. Martinez was indicted after the shooting for, quote, "forcibly assaulting, opposing, impeding, intimidating, and interfering with an officer of the United States," but the charges against her were dropped. Of course, DHS never apologized or retracted their statements regarding Martinez as a domestic terrorist. And that's why we got all this new information. According to Reuters, the evidence was released by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago on Tuesday after a district court judge argued the government had shown zero concern about Martinez's reputation, even after the case was dropped in November. And now Martinez is ready to sue not only the agent, but DHS as well. But DHS is still trying to defend themselves, writing in response to CNN's Omar Jimenez, who reported on this story. Are we watching the same video? This is CNN parroting a lawsuit complaint for the sake of getting an emotional exclusive interview to rile up their 53 viewers. They should just drop the charade and hire the reporter as co-counsel. Once again, CNN demonstrates a complete aversion to the truth. Border Patrol law enforcement officers were ambushed and rammed. The officers can be heard identifying the threat. We are boxed in, attempting to avoid conflict by driving away, and then clearly identify when this violent rioter hit them with their vehicle. We are hit. To which Jimenez responded with, I appreciate the response, but the agent himself testified he wouldn't consider this a ramming. And this is also his vehicle in the highlighted circle at the time of the shooting. Do you assess this as boxed in? So here we are again, Cenk. The government, DHS, is demanding that we don't believe our lying eyes. They've smeared another victim. They've attacked protesters. They've shot someone else. Thankfully, she's even alive to fight for herself, to defend her reputation, because we've seen what they'll do if you're dead.
Yeah. So everything in that story that the officers said, the government said was a lie. You just saw it on the video. There's no question about it. They're all boxed in. The road is completely open. We're hit, right? No, you turned the wheel and hit her. And then they murdered her right afterwards. Or they tried to. So how do you defend this? Look, one of our members on Twitch wrote in SM said, to them, this is an Afghanistan war zone. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to turn this into a war zone. So Exum is a fake tough guy. He's a loser. He's a total weakling. And if he's watching this, he's probably gonna wanna murder somebody because I said that, right? Because that's what weak people do. And it's never with their hands, it's always with a weapon. It's against a woman, she's totally defenseless. That's what cowards do. And other cowards then defend them. Oh my God, he was afraid for his life. If you watch that video and you think that weakling was so afraid for his life that he had to go and try to kill a woman to do that? Oh my God. I mean, how weak are you? How unbelievably weak are you? But of course, it has nothing to do with that. He just wanted to kill her. He just wanted to kill someone because that's what the kind of guy that he is. And by the way, look at the culture. And as soon as he does that, all the other guys are like, oh, thank God you're alive. Oh, you're a legend, hero, amazing. Because that's the culture that they've cultivated inside the government. Lie about everything, kill anyone you want, and then we'll call you a hero. And by the way, where did they train to get all these wonderful new tactics? Not that they're that new for law enforcement, unfortunately, in this country. Oh, right, they train with the Israelis. Lie about everything, pretend what? What does Israel always pretend? And what did this guy pretend? Self-defense. And what they ram into you, they shoot you 5-7 times, and then they go, oh, I'm the victim, self-defense. So Jordan, I've seen this movie 100 times, man. I'm sick of this movie. And what happened to Don't Tread on Me? So now they're gonna do this to American citizens, to others, and they're gonna turn our cities into war zones. For what? For what? What are we gaining out of this? No, it's meant to divide us. It's meant to get us to hate each other. It's meant to take our rights away. It's meant to do a police state. So I'm against it. I'll never be for it. And ISIS withdrawing from Minnesota. We'll have that story for you a little bit later in the show. Just get them off our streets, man. So they struck a deal with Minnesota. We'll talk more about it later in the show. And maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. But the bottom line is, if there's undocumented criminals, turn them into ICE or whoever you're going to turn them into once they've served their sentence. I think that should be clear for everyone. Once you get beyond the criminals and you're in our streets and you're putting these, guys with trigger fingers that can't wait to murder someone out in the streets in mass, acting like thugs, well, then we're in a police state, and it has nothing to do with immigration. If you accept this, you'll accept anything.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.